All right, so I'm in our front yard. Got our entry right here with a fun roundabout that comes around to the front of the house behind me. And so I'm thinking that my 28 by roughly 40 feet long raised bed can go right here. I'm thinking it will get some nice shade from the house in the late afternoon when it's super hot here in Oklahoma, maybe a little bit of wind shelter, and just be really beautiful in front of the house with the picket fence and some rose arches and stuff. So originally when we bought the house and we were looking at all the satellite imagery and the photos, I had envisioned the front of the house coming around and having the large raised bed garden here. A little bit out of the way, but a great use of the property. But when we arrived, as you can see, the topography here, which wouldn't come up on a video or on a photograph, is way more sloped than can handle with the raised bed. So this all dips down and then comes up and then slopes again. I did not think this would be smart drainage or leveling for the raised bed boxes. So I'm gonna have to come up with another plan for this area. I'm thinking maybe blackberry bushes, maybe a crabapple, some shade trees, and fill this area nicely with stuff that can live happily in ground. Another option was this area on the other side of the entry that is long. It would be really great, but again, we've got this sloping, and this actually would help with drainage for stuff in ground. But again, I think the leveling would be too much of a pain with raised garden beds and boxes and getting a path over there and stuff. So I have to get creative on how to use this space in ground. So this space in the front of the house on the side is what makes the most sense for a nice flat raised bed space. As you can see, I don't have any sloping or hills. It's just nice and flat. So picture with me picket fence, raised beds, rose arch entryway, bird bath. I'm excited. All right, now if you want to walk with me, I'm walking through what will be my raised garden over to the backyard where I'm hoping to have more of the production field for the cut flowers. Going down the side of the house. Not sure what we'll use this for. Probably a good nice pass through for the kids and playground. And here we are, nice back porch. In the back half of the house. Okay, so here I am in the back. Came all the way full circle to the other corner of the house. Got our shed there that hopefully can fit most of our gardening supplies until we can get a bigger structure built on the property. But here's our entry gate to what will be the back production field, cut flower field. I have to come up with the name I want to call it. We got a lot of space back here. Well, one of the most important parts about growing anything is your soil. And we never actually did a dig test when we bought the house, but that was one of the first things we just did. Husband dug a nice hole and that looks like clay. Nice dark color. We don't have the red dirt that is in parts of Oklahoma. It's clearly holding all of its water from the snowstorm. It's nice dark color. We're going to dig up some and we're going to submit to our local extension office's soil test so we can figure out how healthy it is and what amendments we're going to need to make before we start planting later in April. Look, we just dig another spot just to see what the rest of the property looks like. And look, a worm. A worm means life. This is good. Hopefully you didn't cut him in half.
Mm.
Yay!
Here's another worm.
Another one?
You got worms?
Yes, we've got worms. Perfect. Okay, I thought it would be helpful to put a still image here of the property and show kind of where all of this is hopefully going to be this year, and then maybe some of our future plans moving forward. So we have, make sure that this is visible. I'm going to pick pink. Okay, this is going to be the large raised garden. And then in the backyard, the second section of the backyard, you'll see in a future video us laying out the flower field with silage tarp to kill off the grass. But essentially I'm going to have two 30 by 60 rectangles in the very back with about 10, I can't even count, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 flower rows, and then the same is going to be in the back there for pumpkin, sunflower, and corn. So we're going to have basically two staggered 30 by 60 rectangles back there for cut flowers and pumpkins and watermelons and corn and all of that I'm not going to take up raised bed space for. Then I'll change to red. I'm hoping to put our orchard along this property fence line here. So the plan is, if I can get my hands on them, it's hard to find, I'm finding it hard to find larger size fruit trees this year. So I might have to start small and be patient, but let's say apple, apple, pear, pear, plum, cherry is about what I'm hoping to have. And then, let's see, I am hoping, let's go back to bright pink. I'm hoping to, in the fall, plant along this fence line like 100 peonies. Can you imagine what this is going to look like in spring with 50 to 100 peonies along that fence line? So that's in the plan. And then also in the fall, I'm really hoping to fill this front yard street side of the fence line with daffodils. They're one of the first things to bloom in spring. They're some of the first color that you see, especially when the grass is still kind of brown and not coming back. The trees are not quite blossoming, they're just starting to bud, and then you see the yellow, bright, cheery signs of spring come up. And I think that would just be so wonderful to be one of the first things you see on the property driving up to the house. And then, additionally, I think I'm planning to put our fire pit area right here. One of the reasons for that is this tree right here, when it's all leafed out in the summer, it's going to help cast shade in that area. And in the summer, you're not exactly looking to build a fire, but maybe you want to sit outside, watch the kids play and ride their bikes, but be in the shade, because 5 p.m., 6 p.m. in the summertime is still going to be pretty hot. So I think that tree with the sun setting could be in a really great location. So this is the plan for 2022. This is all that we're hoping to achieve, to put out, to learn and experiment and build out the property. Now, if we're talking goals, next year goals, which would just be incredible if we could do, we are considering putting a barn right about here, maybe parallel with the house, and then putting, let's do purple, doing a U-pick flower farm in the front of the house with a big center lane to walk through. That would be amazing. But that's dreaming, thinking of the future, would be wonderful, but definitely not in the plan this year. But I hope that the drone shot, the tour on the property, and then this visual kind of gives you a good idea of our new property, the layout, and the plans and goals that we have for this year in slowly building out our property.
Okay, go ahead. Where you going, babe? Where you going? There's the house. There's a good warming jog in the property. Seriously, we could put a running track in here. You're gonna run the whole way? So far.